guys, what's up? My name is Jimena, and today we're going to be talking about the Green New Deal. But before I get started, I just want to remind you that I am uploading 3 times a week this month. Anyways, let's just get into talking about the Green New Deal. So, first things first, what is the Green New Deal, and why are we still talking about it? You may have heard about this on and off for the better part of this year, and maybe you even heard that it was struck down when it came time to vote on it. And this should trigger something in you because a lot of hype around it was just about AOC wanting to get rid of cows, but also like it's a dead bill. Like it was already voted down. Why are we even still giving it attention? Well, you will be surprised to know that this document is 14 pages long. And not like 14 full pages long, like 14 pages long with like thick indents. It is not that dense of a bill. It is not that complex of a bill to grasp your mind around. But let me just say that the word cow literally never came up, not once. And so today I'm going to give you a little bit of background around the bill. We're going to talk about the actual goals that were outlined in the document and some misconceptions of the bill and a little bit about why it's significant. So let's talk about some background to the bill. So the Green New Deal was first introduced by AOC and Senator Ed Markey, and it is a non-binding resolution, which means that it does not become law, unlike a bill. So the resolution is more of a formality to express a goal that cannot otherwise be voted on due to the matter needing to be handled by another jurisdiction, which in this case is the federal government. So unfortunately, the resolution was not passed because Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell held a vote without scheduling hearings or expert testimony. So this is the most detailed plan yet to transform the economy, and the way it's written is vague on purpose. It is meant to be a set of principles rather than policies, and this resolution should put us at the forefront of the Green Revolution. So, what does the bill actually say? Well, the goals outlined in the resolution are as follows. So, first off, A, to receive net zero greenhouse gas emissions through a fair and just transition for all communities and workers. B, to create millions of good, high-wage jobs and ensure prosperity and economic security for all people of the United States. C, to invest in the infrastructure and industry of the United States to sustainably meet the challenges of the 21st century. D, to secure for all people of the United States for generations to come, 1, clean air and water, climate and community resilience, healthy food, access to nature, and a sustainable environment. And E, to promote justice and equity by stopping current, preventing future, and repairing historic oppression of indigenous peoples, communities of color, migrant communities, deindustrialized communities, depopulated rural communities, the poor, low-income workers, women, the elderly, and the unhoused people, and people with disabilities, and youth, referred to in this resolution as frontline and vulnerable communities. Now, imagine reading those goals and getting pissed off. Can't relate. So, real quick, before we talk about the misconceptions, let's first talk about why this is even a thing that we need. Like, why would she write this? Like, who would do this? Like, who would make this a goal? What is the reason for it? Well, as it currently stands, the Earth's climate has already warmed 1 degree Celsius from pre-industrial levels, and this has in turn unleashed a cascade of heat waves, wildfires, hurricanes, storms, water shortages, migrations, and conflicts. Climate change is not a threat, it is here. The climate has changed. The author of the book, The Uninhabitable Earth, David Wallace, talked to the New York Times about what is expected when temperatures rise 2 degrees Celsius. This is his exact quote. As temperatures rise, this could mean many of the biggest cities in the Middle East and South Asia would become lethally hot in the summer, perhaps as soon as 2050. There would be ice-free summers in the Arctic and unstoppable disintegration of the West Antarctic's ice sheets, which some scientists believe has already begun, threatening the world's coastal cities with inundation. Coral reefs would most likely disappear, and there would be tens of millions of climate refugees, perhaps many more fleeing droughts, flooding, and extreme heat, and the possibility of multiple climate-driven natural disasters striking simultaneously. It's already started, and I really don't understand why people continue to deny the problems. But, like, I guess if it doesn't affect you right away, then it doesn't matter, right? Let's talk about some misconceptions real quick. So, lightning round. Are hamburgers going to be illegal? No. Why do people think this? Because AOC's intern published a frequently asked questions in which he stated, and I quote, "We set a goal to get to net zero rather than zero emissions in 2010 because we aren't sure that we'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows and airplanes that fast, but we think we can ramp up renewable manufacturing and power production, retrofit every building in America, building the smart grid, overhaul transportation and agriculture, plant lots of trees, and restore our ecosystems to get to net zero." Will flying be illegal? No. Part of the resolution calls for a high-speed rail, which would disencourage flying because, like, there's people that are scared of flying. So, like, if you can take this light-speed rail that takes a lot less time to get from SF to Los Angeles, wouldn't you want to do that instead of taking a plane? Like, obviously, you'd still take planes to, like, go overseas and stuff, but, like, you know, it's not going to be illegal. They're just trying to discourage flying because of all the fuel and stuff. Is nuclear power part of the Green New Deal? No, I just read you the goals. Nuclear power was never mentioned. There are ways that people think that nuclear power could help, but the Green New Deal is not asking for it. Does the Green New Deal provide for people who are unwilling or unable to work? Yes. So while older conservative voters are critical of this policy, it's actually intended for that kind of voter. So it's most likely going to be some type of retirement pension is what this is going to be aimed towards doing, because, for example, someone who spent their entire career in the energy sector isn't going to want to begin another career later in life. And a jobs guarantee is an essential part of the Green New Deal because a transition like this, like moving away from fossil fuels into renewable energy, is going to displace a lot of people. And part of what she wants to do is a just transition. So not just firing people, but finding ways to get them employment again is what her ultimate goal is. Wouldn't you want that just transition instead of just firing and laying off everyone and then leaving them to fend for themselves? Like, doesn't that sound like a better idea? But anyways, while these goals seem at face value to be too good to be true, even if we don't reach them, is it not at least worth going in that direction to try? Like, is it too much for people to ask for clean air and water because it's a burden to the industries to care about how much water they're polluting and how much of the air that they're polluting? Like, really? It's too much for them? You have all of this money, but spending any part of it to prevent air pollution and water pollution, that's where you draw the line? That's too much? The only valid question or concern that I see is how are we going to pay for it? And while it is a valid question, it baffles me that while we can be $22 trillion in debt giving tax cuts to the rich, it's a little bit too much to ask to spend money towards bettering our future. First off, there's not a price tag on the Green New Deal yet. There are estimates that have been thrown around, but there is no solid number of what it would actually cost because we don't know. We haven't started it. The Green New Deal, again, it's a set of guidelines. It is not policy. It is not going to go into law. It is a goal for our future that we are going to try to accomplish. But so during a 60 Minutes interview, AOC talked about taxing the rich their fair share. And while it doesn't sit too well with a lot of people who believe that it's killing the American dream, first, the type of tax cuts that she's talking about aren't going to affect you. They're not going to affect half of the population of the US. They're probably, it's about 18,000 people. 18,000 people out of, like, how many people live in the US? You will never be able to conceptualize the amount of excess that these people are living in, yet you are willing to defend them to the fucking grave. You don't know them. You don't know what dealings they're doing. You don't know if they're doing anything shady. You just know that they're millionaires, billionaires. She's talking about how much is living in excess. Yeah, you can make a lot of money and you could be financially good for all your family and you can help them out, but like there's a certain point where you just have so much money you literally have nothing to do with it. Like it's just sitting there. And so what she wants to do is tax them more, because why do you need so much money? Jeff Bezos does not need that much money. If Jeff Bezos would put some of his money towards like good causes or charity, like that would be different, because yeah, he makes a lot of money, but he's also contributing to society, but he's not. So it just baffles me that people are willing to defend millionaires when they will literally never even understand how much excess that they're living in. But I digress. Congress can literally pass any budget that it chooses. How do you think that they paid for FDR's New Deal? Because the economy was garbage. There was literally no money anywhere. He didn't go out taxing money because who was he going to tax? So he created a new budget and he got the ball rolling. And that's kind of what this is meant to do. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that part of this. But let's talk about the significance real quick. So I get it. It seems like climate change is a red versus blue issue. If you vote with Democrats, you believe in climate change. And if you vote with Republicans, you're skeptical about it. Maybe you think that it's a thing, but humans aren't causing it. Republicans are trying to suppress science because it's inconvenient, aka releasing the IPCC report that says that we have 12 years to get our shit together before we start feeling the worst impacts of climate change on Black Friday, versus the Democrats who want to face the problem head on with well thought out solutions. Conservatives call it socialist, moderates call it extreme, pundits call it unrealistic. Whatever they call it, we're still talking about it. Over 5 months after it was shut down, we're still talking about it. Most Democratic candidates have endorsed it, and in the exact words of the resolution, a Green New Deal must be developed through transparent and inclusive consultation, collaboration, and partnership with frontline and vulnerable communities, labor union workers, worker cooperatives, civil society groups, academia, and businesses. This is an inclusive conversation where everyone with a valid concern deserves a seat at the table. Employees of the fossil fuel sector are invited to the table to voice their concerns, since we are coming for their jobs. We want a just transition, but we have to be willing to change. Yes, this is going to be a drastic change to our way of life, but we have been putting it off for so long that it doesn't seem feasible to even try an incremental approach anymore. There's not enough time, and we either start acting now or we're going to suffer the worst of the consequences. Whew. Anyways, guys, that is it from me today. I hope that I have taught you a little bit more about the Green New Deal than you knew maybe before watching this video. I hope that I taught you something. Don't forget to hug a tree, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.